Now, I don't have a suit to wear for this video. However, I do have the sunglasses and I have a neuralizer. I mean, it's not a real one. It's actually a pen, but you know, we'll make do. Men in Black International is directed by F. Gary Gray, and this is the fourth installment into the Men in Black series. This film follows Agent M, who, after discovering the secret organization of the Men in Black, she is sent on a mission to London to uncover the identity of a hidden mole in the agency. The Men in Black has been a very bumpy franchise since its original film all the way back in 1997. Now, 22 years later, we have seen 2 sequels, several video games, an animated series, and 3 original songs. And just like the songs, the follow-ups could never really match the magic of the original. They essentially take the formula of this kind of buddy cop movie with an interesting premise and kind of just take that concept and don't really do that much differently with it. Because the second film is terrible, and the third one is okay at best, and I would really only say that because of Josh Brolin's performance in that movie. But even the highest highs of that film don't even come close to accomplishing what the 1997 film was able to do. So, in true Sony fashion, they took their other paranormal investigator franchise, introduced a new cast of characters for a new audience because, well, that worked so well last time. However, despite their previous efforts, I was actually pretty cautiously optimistic for this film. For one, the cast of this movie is, dare I say, out of this world.
Boo, you suck!
You've got your Chris Hemsworth, you've got your Tessa Thompson, you've got your Kumail Nanjiani, all of whom are incredibly talented and super funny. Not only that, but with the addition of director F. Gary Gray, I had plenty of reasons to assume that this movie, at minimum, would at least be pretty good. Well, that serves me right for being optimistic because I was thoroughly disappointed with this film. First off, in a franchise that surrounds alien immigrants who come to this planet and the secret government organization that patrols them, I do think it is a bit odd that their next big idea was, hey, what if it took place in London? You know, like America, except they call the subway the Tube. Huh? Huh? I mean, yeah, they do go to other places in this film, like Paris and I think Morocco, but for the most part, these locations kind of just feel like accessories, and more oftentimes than not, do very little to actually impact the plot of this film. Not only that, but this film does very little to at least attempt to offer some type of variant on the Men in Black formula. This movie features yet another story about a rookie who teams up with a veteran agent to retrieve a very powerful yet very small alien weapon before a malicious alien force comes to Earth to retrieve it. I really don't understand Sony though. I mean, I get that Men in Black isn't even in the same zip code as Ghostbusters is in terms of the size of its fan base. However, I don't know why they're attempting to resurrect yet another franchise that has been dormant for some time, only to do essentially what the first film did, just worse. As I mentioned, this movie features the story of a veteran agent who is paired up with a rookie, Chris Hemsworth being the veteran and Tessa Thompson being the rookie. But something that did confuse me throughout almost the entire duration of this film is, despite the fact that this is Agent M's first mission, she does seem pretty capable of accomplishing most of the tasks in this movie. They do briefly explain at the beginning of this movie why she is as intelligent as she is, which is fine. That's cool. However, there are things that she is able to accomplish in this movie that I don't really think her intelligence is probably going to help her too much with. She's able to hold her own in hand-to-hand combat with a 4-armed alien. She's also able to pilot the Men in Black car almost immediately. I definitely would have forgiven some of those if they would have had this throwaway line about how she's had some military experience. However, if she still had that experience, I don't really see how that helps her in flying a car, especially one that she hasn't even driven on land yet. I'd say her co-star, Chris Hemsworth, he's fine in this movie. He pretty much does what he's done in a lot of these types of films, playing the charming yet bumbling idiot who somehow still manages to pretty much be on top of things. I think actually the standout of this film is Kumail Nanjiani, who portrays this little alien guy. He's by far the funniest part of this movie. He has the best lines, and he steals every single scene that he is in. But I think something that every subsequent sequel to the original Men in Black movie has missed is the sense of griminess. The original kind of had this gruff and dirty aesthetic to it, but I think with each subsequent sequel, it feels very clean and very polished, especially so with this film. This movie also features a ton of special effects. Some look really good, and some others not as much. There are some close-ups of some of the alien creatures in this movie that I think actually look really fantastic. I was pretty blown away with the work that they accomplished in this film. However, in the next scene, there'll be a shot of these superimposed backgrounds to these characters, and it looks horrendous, which again is something that has gotten worse and worse with each subsequent sequel to the original film. And that is also true with the villains of the series. I mean, my God, Vincent D'Onofrio in the first film as Edgar, he's insane good. But with each film, the villains have not even come close to even competing with that performance. And to make matters worse, this film doesn't really have a clear villain at all. There are like 4 villains in this movie that kind of result in this just weird, lazy Susan of antagonists. It's really bizarre. I think for being a reboot of a series with a whole new cast of characters and a new director, I expected this movie to be a lot better. They try and rely on the old rookie paired with a veteran formula, and it kind of falls flat on its face. Both Agent M and Agent H are consistently trying to be the funny characters, and it just doesn't really work. Their dynamic doesn't work, which is very surprising. That was one thing that I thought was foolproof in this movie, because we've seen what they can do together on screen with Thor Ragnarok. But there are actually a ton of jokes in this movie that I think in a completely full theater, I think maybe got like 8 or 9 laughs. I think if Sony is wanting to reboot this series and try to encourage audience members to see more of these films, they're going to have to do something different, which they didn't. They just set the film in Europe and expected that to be enough. But in a series where we have literally been told that our galaxy is encased in a marble, that aliens are kind of just tossing into a sack, you're gonna have to do a lot more than that. So did you guys see Men in Black International? What did you think about it? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you liked today's video. And if you did, you can click the link down below and subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews and movie related things. You guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.